hearts. What vibe should I go with today? Checking myself lightly in front of the mirror. Vibe check, asking myself, vibe check, just going with the flow, taking it easy, keeping it light. Vibe check, it goes on and on.
Several years ago, my wife's and my first dog passed away from kidney disease. When he was a puppy, one of his small little canine teeth fell out and we found it in the carpet in our house. I held on to it all these years, and today we are going to make a really unique and special piece of jewelry for my wife. So here you see we have an ingot or a small bar of gold that we've cast out, and here I am cutting it to the exact size that I need. And after cutting it, you're going to see that I'm going to file it so that it has more of an oval shape to it. This special jeweler saw uses a really thin but strong blade that can cut through gold like butter. Whoops! Snap the blade. Yeah, that does happen. But no problem, we'll get a new blade on there and keep on cutting. So now that we've cut that little piece of gold away, we're left with a slightly rectangular piece that we're going to file down and round off the edges into more of an oval shape. One of the hardest parts of being a jeweler is holding on to the small little pieces that you're working on. So here you see we have these little pliers that we're holding on to the piece of gold, then we're filing those edges off round and smooth. Now that we have it to the shape we want, we take it under the microscope and we are going to add these little holes to the side of the piece. We're using what's called a ball burr, and it's a small steel burr that cuts away at the metal and makes this nice little indent. What we're doing here is we're going to use the existing metal to then set stones into. So here we're being very careful to make sure we have our layout just perfect. Our goal is to fill the whole exterior of this piece of gold with gemstones. This is very tedious work and we have to be very precise so that the stones sit really nice and tight next to each other, but not too tight because we don't want them to chip each other. For this reason, we're using this microscope so we can see everything really nice and close up. Now that we've drilled all our holes, we're going to add these little decorative cuts into the top section of the metal. We use this tool that's called a graver, and it's a sharpened piece of carbide which cuts away and leaves this nice polished surface on the metal. This pattern that we're cutting into the piece is called a French cut. Normally on a piece like this, we would use a vise to hold the piece in while we're cutting. This helps to make sure that it's very secure while we're cutting and that we get the cuts just right. But because of how odd shaped this piece is, I'm actually just holding it between my fingers while I make the cuts. After drilling the holes, you see we're left with these little islands of metal between the holes. We've switched over to what's called a cylinder burr, and we're going to cut that metal away and slowly remove them so that we can use those islands as prongs. And yes, I know what you're thinking. All those little gold shavings, yes, we're going to save them and refine them later. So we've cut all the little islands going around the circumference of the piece, but now we have these little diagonal islands that we need to cut away as well. Now time for the fun part. So we are going to add these blue sapphires into those holes that we cut out, and then we're going to push the metal over the top and secure them in permanently. Our dog's name was Blue, so Blue Sapphires is the perfect fit for this piece. Right now, these stones are just held in place by friction alone. But you'll see here, we're going to use this special tool to first split those little islands in between the stones. And this is going to prepare them for the next step. This little splitter tool is actually just a tool that I made here in the shop with an old burr that had broken. After I split the prongs, I use this beading tool to then push the metal over and round it over the top of the stones. Okay, here's that tooth I was telling you about, that teeny little canine from when Blue was a puppy. Here I'm going to measure out the outline so that I can drill a hole and insert the tooth down into the metal. There's the basic outline, so I'm going to take another one of those ball burrs and I'm just going to start removing the metal, and we're going to go as deep as we can so that that tooth can slide into there and never come out. Just making more gold dust. And trust me, we will reuse that gold dust, I promise you. We don't waste anything here in the shop. So there you go. We have the hole all drilled out. We refined the tooth just a little bit, and there it goes, nice and tight. We also added these cross pins that we're going to laser weld in, and those go all the way through and lock into the tooth as well so that it's stuck in there. Here's a shot of us drilling out into the tooth and inserting one of those pins. There you go, guys. After setting those last couple gemstones and adding a final polish, we are done. Look at the sparkle on those stones. Beautiful. And check out those French cuts. Those little details just make the piece really pop. I think my wife's going to be super excited for this project. Blue was one of the best dogs we could have ever had, and he only deserves the best. And for some extra credit, I made a pair of matching earrings as well. These simple bezel set blue sapphire earrings are going to match nicely with that necklace. Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed, and please forgive my dirty fingers in this shot. I know they don't look that great, but that's what happens when you're a jeweler. Your fingers get really dirty, and they honestly never get clean. And if you liked this video and liked watching the process, please check out the next video above. We are always coming out with new and cool projects for your entertainment.